Title: When Earth's Battleship Arrived. The Galaxy Cowered in Horror Part 1. The rumors of Earth across the distant systems of the Galactic Union. Stories of Earth circulated like ghost tales. Most dismissed the planet as a forgotten backwater, lost to time and isolation. A few ancient records described a species called humans, but the data was incomplete. Some historians whispered that Earth had withdrawn long ago after a major conflict, swearing never to return. The galaxy moved on, comfortable in its power. But deep within the core worlds, a few began to worry as strange signals were intercepted on the edge of explored space. Captain Laura Briggs of the Xanathi fleet was among the first to hear the warning. An unknown vessel had breached Union space. She sent scouts. Only one returned, stammering, pale, and terrified. The message was simple: Earth has returned. Part 2. The first contact. A large ship appeared at the edge of Sector 9. It was black and heavy. The marks on the hull showed signs of old battles. The ship looked strong and quiet. On the side were the words, EFS Valiant. People across the sector watched in fear. Inside the ship, Captain Ray Collins stood at the front. He was calm. His voice was strong but quiet. He looked at the screen showing the stars in nearby systems. His crew sat at their stations, waiting for his orders. He spoke to his crew. Send the message now. The ship sent a short message to the galaxy. It said, We are from Earth. We do not want war, but we will not step back. The message reached many places. The Galactic Council met quickly. Leaders from many planets gathered. They spoke in worried tones. They had heard of Earth's power. Long ago, Earth had created weapons that others could not understand. Now Earth was back. No one knew what would happen. Some leaders wanted to greet the humans. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to send ships. There was fear in the room. No one agreed on what to do. A woman named Yara Denton was sent to speak to the humans. She was known for her strong voice and peaceful ways. She sent a message to the Earthship. She asked for a meeting. She asked for peace. There was no answer for 2 days. The Earthship stayed still. It did not move. It did not speak. The galaxy waited. Finally, another message came. It was from Captain Collins. It said, We will speak, but we will speak on our terms. We have not come to kneel. We have come to show we still stand. Yara sent a small ship to meet with the Valiant. She traveled with 2 others. Their ship was small next to the Earthship. As they entered the docking bay, they looked around. Everything was clean and strong. The walls were thick and bright lights showed smooth steel. There were no guards, just silence. They were led to a room where Captain Collins waited. He stood up as they entered. He gave a small nod. Thank you for coming, he said. Yara spoke. We are glad you did not attack. Many feared you would. We are not here to destroy, Collins replied. But we will not let anyone threaten us. Earth has been quiet. Now we are not. Yara asked many questions. She wanted to know why Earth had returned, what they wanted, what they planned. Collins did not say much. He said Earth had watched from far away, that they saw how the galaxy had changed, that Earth had waited. Now they had decided to return. We are not here to take control, he said, but we will not be ignored. The meeting was short. Yara and her team left. They flew back to the council and told what they had seen and heard. Some leaders were calm, others were not. They did not trust Earth. They did not believe that Earth would stay peaceful in secret. Some groups began to prepare. They made plans to test the Earth ship, to see how strong it really was. They did not tell the council. On the F's Valiant, Captain Collins stood with his officers. Dana Brooks, Kyle Turner, and Ethan Hall were among them. They were ready for anything. They knew some would test them. "Let them come," Collins said. "We did not come here to hide." The ship stayed silent. The galaxy watched. The first meeting had ended. But everyone knew the real story was just beginning. The EFS Valiant moved through space without sound. The stars passed slowly around the ship. Inside, the crew stayed at their stations. They had trained for this moment. It had been many years since anyone from Earth had entered deep space. Now they were here. Captain Ray Collins stood at the center of the command deck. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He knew what the galaxy might do. He had read the old reports. He had studied the ancient wars. Earth had once been feared, then forgotten. Now it was remembered again. A young officer named Megan Lee turned in her chair. "Sir, we are getting more scans from nearby systems. They are watching us." "Let them watch," Collins said. "We will not make the first move." In the Galactic Council, the leaders continued to argue. Some shouted for peace. Others wanted to send warships. A few said Earth should be left alone, but no one knew what Earth planned, and that made them afraid. A man named Yalon from the planet Torva stood up. "If Earth wants to talk, let us send a ship, one with strong shields, just in case." Others nodded. They chose a small team of diplomats and soldiers. The ship was called the Dawnseeker. It had good speed and thick armor. It was not a warship, but it could defend itself. As the Dawnseeker left the Council's planet, many watched from the surface. People stood in the streets, looking at the sky. Some cheered, others prayed. The journey to the Valiant would take. One day, on the Valiant, Collins got the message. A ship was coming. He did not smile. He only said, "They are testing us. We will receive them, but we must stay alert." The next day, the Dawnseeker reached the Valiant. It looked small beside the Earth ship. The pilots of the smaller ship stared at the massive structure. It had weapons and armor they had never seen before. A voice came from the Valiant. "You may board. We allow 3 people. No weapons." The Dawnseeker sent 3, 1 diplomat named Nina Carter, 1 officer named Kyle Griggs, and 1 scientist named Leo Martin. They took a shuttle and entered the Valiant. Inside, it was quiet and clean. The walls were steel gray. The air felt heavy. They were met by a young crewman named Ben Riley. He said few words and led them through the halls. Captain Collins waited for them in a small room with a table and chairs. He stood when they entered. He nodded once. "Welcome to the F's Valiant." Nina stepped forward. "We are from the Galactic Council. We come in peace." Collins replied, "We are not your enemy, but we will not be treated as weak. Earth remembers everything." Kyle looked around. "Your ship is very advanced." "It is strong," Collins said. "We made it that way for a reason," Leo asked. "Why did Earth come back now, after so long?" Collins looked at him. "Because we watched. And we saw enough." There was silence in the room. Nina spoke again. "The Council wants to understand you. They want peace." "We want the same," Collins said, "but we will not accept fear. If we are welcomed, we will share. If we are attacked, we will defend." After more talk, The three visitors returned to their ship. The shuttle flew back to the Dawnseeker. As they left, they looked back at the Valiant. It sat still in space, silent and powerful. Nina sent a report to the council. She told them the truth. Earth was not angry, but it was strong. Earth had not come to take over, but it would not be pushed around. Some in the council felt relief. Others grew more afraid. In secret, a group of military leaders met. They did not trust Earth. They made a plan. They would send 3 fast ships to scan the Valiant. If they could learn its weak points, they might feel safer. They did not tell the full council. They acted alone. The 3 ships moved quickly. They entered Sector 9 and closed in on the Valiant. From the bridge, Megan saw them on the screen. Unknown ships approaching fast. Collins nodded. Do not fire. Let's see what they want. The ships scanned the Valiant. They flew close. One passed under the hull. Another came too near the engines. The third stayed back. Suddenly, alarms rang on the Earth ship. One of the fast ships had fired a small probe. It hit the side of the Valiant. There was no damage, but it was a warning. Collins gave one order. Target their engines. Do not destroy. Disable only. A bright beam of light shot from the Valiant. It struck one of the fast ships. The engines stopped. The ship began to drift. The other 2 turned and fled. Send a message, Collins said. Do not test us again. We did not come to fight. But we are not weak. The message was sent. The disabled ship was left unharmed. The Valiant stayed still. Back at the council, the news arrived. The secret group was caught. Many were angry. The council now understood. Earth had power, and Earth had patience, but Earth also had limits. Across the galaxy, people now spoke of Earth with new voices, not with laughter, not with doubt, but with care. And on the Valiant, Captain Collins looked at the stars. He knew more would come. He was ready. The news of the attack on the Earth's ship spread fast. Many systems were quiet. Some sent messages to say they were sorry. Others said nothing. They waited to see what Earth would do next. Captain Ray Collins stood on the bridge of the F's Valiant. He looked at the screen. The stars were calm. His voice was steady when he spoke. We did not come to start a war, but they need to understand we are not weak. His officer, Kyle Turner, nodded. More ships are watching us now. They stay far, but they are there. Let them watch, Collins said. They will learn. Back in the Galactic Council, the leaders were afraid. The group that had sent the fast ships was punished. But fear remained. Some said Earth should leave. Some said Earth should lead. No one could agree. Yara Denton, the diplomat who met with Captain Collins, stood before the council. Earth gave a warning, not a threat. They could have destroyed those ships, but they did not. We must listen. Some agreed. Others did not. They still feared Earth's power. Far away on a cold moon, a small kingdom called Zevran held a secret. They were known for pride and weapons. The leader, Prime Lord Vacan, did not fear Earth. He saw the Valiant's actions as weakness. He called his war council. Earth speaks of peace, but shows power, Vacan said. I say we test them again. This time they will answer, and we will strike first. His generals agreed. They made a plan to launch a weapon at the Valiant. Not a large attack, just a test. They wanted to see if Earth would fight back. They believed Earth would not risk a full war. Days later, a missile was launched from the Zevran moon. It flew fast and silent through space. The missile hit one of the Valiant's outer shields. There was no real damage, but the act was clear. Alarms rang on the Valiant. Crew members moved fast. On the bridge, lights flashed red. Captain Collins stood still. "Where did it come from?" he asked. Dana Brooks answered, "The moon of Zevran, sir. We have full tracking. It was not a mistake." "Then we respond," Collins said. His voice did not rise. It was cold and clear. "Target their moon base. Remove it. No civilian hits. Just the base." The crew worked fast. The Valiant's weapons powered. Up, a single beam of blue light fired from the ship. It crossed space in seconds and hit the moon base. The explosion was clean. The base was gone. On the moon, people watched in fear. The sky turned white for a moment, then dark again. There was silence, then screams. No civilians were hurt, but the army was gone. Zevran's power ended in one shot. The message was sent: "Do not strike Earth. Do not test us." Back at the Galactic Council, the news hit hard. No one spoke at first. Then Lyra, one of the leaders, said, "They warned us. We did not listen. Now we see." The Council voted to open full talks with Earth. They sent a message asking for a meeting. They would come in peace. On the Valiant, Captain Collins read the message. He turned to his crew. "They are ready now. Set course for the Council planet. Let's speak to them." The ship moved through space. As it passed other systems, people watched with quiet eyes. They did not cheer. They did not shout. They simply watched. In a city on a planet named Rovel, a child looked at the sky. She saw a flash of light as the ship passed. She turned to her father and asked, "Is that the Earth ship?" "Yes," the man said. "Are they going to hurt us?" "No," he said. "They came to stop others from hurting us." The Valiant reached the Council world. It stayed in orbit. 3 small ships left the Earth vessel and flew to the surface. Inside were Captain Collins, Dana Brooks, and Ethan Hall. They were met by guards, but the guards did not raise weapons. They only stood and watched. Collins and his team were taken to the Grand Hall. The room was large, full of leaders from many worlds. The voices were quiet as the humans entered. Collins looked at them, then he spoke. "We did not leave Earth to rule. We left because we saw danger. We saw war. Now we see it again, but we do not run anymore." Lyra stood. "We welcome you, but we are afraid. Your ship is powerful. Your past is full of war. We must know your true reason." Collins nodded. "We return to remind the galaxy. Earth is not gone. We do not seek battle, but we will not bow. If peace is what you want, we will join you. But if fear drives you to attack, then we will stand alone." There was silence again. Then, one by one, the leaders began to speak. Many thanked Earth. A few still questioned, but no one shouted. Outside, the people of the Council planet looked up at the sky. The Valiant floated above them like a mountain in the stars. Kevin, the signal worker who had first heard Earth's return, watched from his small tower. He smiled. "They are not here to take," he whispered. "They are here to remind." And across the galaxy, everyone now knew the same truth. Earth was back, and they had drawn the line. The Earth ship, EFS, Valiant, stayed in orbit above the Council planet. People from every part of the galaxy looked up at the sky and talked about Earth. Some were afraid, some were curious, but no one ignored Earth. Now, Inside the Grand Hall, the Council spoke with the Earth team for many hours. They asked questions about Earth's power, Earth's past, and Earth's goals. Captain Ray Collins answered with short and clear words. "We do not want to rule," he said again. "We want peace, but we are ready for anything. We saw the galaxy turn dark. We came to stand in the light." Dana Brooks added, "Earth grew strong in silence. We watched from far. We saw how fear made people fight. We believe there is a better way." Some of the leaders listened, some stayed quiet. Others did not believe Earth's words. One leader from the planet, Helzer, named Narek, stood up. "You speak of peace, but you carry the biggest ship in the stars. You destroy bases with one shot. How can we believe you are not here to take control?" Ethan Hall, who had said little until now, stepped forward. "We carry strength because we need it. Not to take, but to protect. We know what war can do. We lost many long ago. We do not want that again." The room was still. The Council needed time to decide. They asked Earth's team to wait. Collins, Brooks, and Hall returned to the Valiant. The ship stayed silent. No threats. No weapons were aimed. Just quiet watching. On the planet below, people came to the streets. They held signs asking for peace. Children pointed at the sky. The people were not soldiers or leaders. They only wanted to live without fear. In a small home near the edge of the city, a woman named Mara sat with her son Leo. She looked out the window at the sky. "Will they leave?" Leo asked. "I don't know," Mara said. "But they do not look like monsters. They look like they are waiting." In another part of the galaxy, far from the Council world, a group of warlords watched the events with anger. They were part of a group called the Zeller Syndicate. They made money from fear. They sold weapons, caused small wars, and helped spread lies. Peace was bad for them. Their leader Cravon sat in a dark room with his advisors. He slammed his hand on the table. "Earth is making the people trust again," Craven said. "They make us look weak. We must stop them before they take away our control." His top advisor Loro nodded. "We can strike them first, hit them hard, make the galaxy fear again." Cravon gave the order. The Zeller fleet would launch an attack on the Valiant. They would try to break Earth's power before peace could spread. 3 days later, the attack began. 10 ships from the Zeller Syndicate came out of hyperspace close to the Valiant. They opened fire without warning. Alarms sounded inside the Earth. The crew moved fast. Shields held strong. The weapons officer looked to Captain Collins. "We are under attack." "Orders." Collins stood still, then said, "Return fire. Disable them if you can. End this fast." Beams of light shot from the Valiant. The Zeller ships tried to dodge, but they were not ready for the speed and power of Earth's ship. In less than 5 minutes, 6 of the 10 ships were floating dead in space. The rest turned to flee. "Let them go," Collins said. "Send a message to all systems. Show them what just happened." The message was simple. It showed the attack and Earth's answer. It ended with Captain Collins saying, "We do not run, we do not rule, but we will not fall." Back on the Council planet, the leaders watched the footage. They saw how Earth had been attacked without reason. They saw how Earth had responded with control. Lyra stood again. "Now we know Earth speaks truth. They could have destroyed the whole fleet, but they did not." The Council voted to invite Earth to help guide peace talks. For the first time in many years, Leaders from every system agreed on something. On the Valiant, the crew read the message. Captain Collins looked out at the stars. "This is only the beginning," he said, "but it is a good beginning." In the streets below, people cheered. On distant planets, warlords grew silent, and across the stars, hope started to grow. Earth had returned, not to conquer, but to remind the galaxy that strength can be used for peace. The days after the meeting were quiet. Ships moved slowly. Messages were soft and careful. The galaxy had changed. People were not sure what would happen next, but everyone knew one thing. Earth had returned, and things would not be the same. Captain Ray Collins walked the halls of the Valiant. He passed crew members at their posts. Some nodded to him. Some looked busy. All were calm. They knew they were part of something big. Collins stopped at the command deck. Dana Brooks was watching the screens. "Any word from the council?" he asked. She turned. "They want Earth to help lead talks, not just join, lead." Collins did not smile, but he looked proud. "We will listen, and we will speak." Across the galaxy, new talks began. Systems that had not spoken in years sent messages. Fights that had lasted for decades now paused. Small groups that once caused fear were quiet. They had seen the Valiant. They had seen what Earth could do. The council held a new meeting. This one was not to fight. It was to plan. The leaders sat in a circle. In the center, Earth's place was marked. Yara Denton stood and spoke. "We saw war too long. We saw fear used to control. It is time for peace, and we thank Earth for showing us how to stand again." Collins listened, then he stood. "We are not perfect. Our past has blood. But we learned, and now we offer what we can. We offer our strength, not to lead with force, but to stand beside those who want peace." The room was quiet. Then, one by one, the leaders stood and nodded. It was a new start, far away, in the dark corners of space. The last groups who wanted war met in secret. They watched Earth's rise with anger. One of them, a man named Cyril from the Tarkin Reach, slammed his hand on the table. "They listen. To Earth now. They forget us. We must act." Others around him shook their heads. "You saw what Earth did to Zevran. You saw how fast they stopped the Zeller ships. If we strike, we fall." Cyril growled. "Then we must change. We must find new ways." But most of them left the room. They no longer wanted to fight Earth. They wanted to join the new future. Back on the Valiant, the crew held a quiet dinner. They shared food and stories. There was no music, just voices and soft talk. Ethan Hall raised a glass. To Earth, to peace, and to the stars. The crew raised their glasses. They did not cheer, but their eyes were bright. The next day, the Valiant left the Council planet. It did not leave in anger. It left with purpose. It would travel the galaxy, not to fight, but to remind others that strength could protect, not destroy. In small villages, on cold moons, people looked up at the sky. On large cities floating in clouds, workers pointed to the stars. On every world, someone remembered the ship, and in a classroom on a green planet, a teacher wrote on the board. She wrote, "Earth came back, not with fear, but with hope." A student raised his hand. "Will they stay forever?" The teacher smiled. "Maybe not always, but now we know they are there, watching, waiting, and if we need them, they will return." In deep space, the F's Valiant flew forward. Its engines were quiet, its lights were steady. Inside, the crew stood ready. Captain Collins looked at the stars. He did not speak. He did not need to. The galaxy was different now, and Earth was not silent anymore. The days after the meeting were quiet. Ships moved slowly. Messages were soft and careful. The galaxy had changed. People were not sure what would happen next, but everyone knew one thing. Earth had returned, and things would not be the same. Captain Ray Collins walked the halls of the Valiant. He passed crew members at their posts. Some nodded to him. Some looked busy. All were calm. They knew they were part of something big. Collins stopped at the command deck. Dana Brooks was watching the screens. Any word from the council? He asked. She turned. They want Earth to help lead talks. Not just join. Lead. Collins did not smile, but he looked proud. We will listen, and we will speak. Across the galaxy, new talks began. Systems that had not spoken in years sent messages. Fights that had lasted for decades now paused. Small groups that once caused fear were quiet. They had seen the Valiant. They had seen what Earth could do. The council held a new meeting. This one was not to fight. It was to plan. The leaders sat in a circle. In the center, Earth's place was marked. Yara Denton stood and spoke. We saw war too long. We saw fear used to control. It is time for peace, and we thank Earth for showing us how to stand again. Collins listened, then he stood. We are not perfect. Our past has blood, but we learned, and now we offer what we can. We offer our strength, not to lead with force, but to stand beside those who want peace. The room was quiet. Then, one by one, the leaders stood and nodded. It was a new start, far away, in the dark corners of space. The last groups who wanted war met in secret. They watched Earth's rise with anger. One of them, a man named Cyril from the Tarkin Reach, slammed his hand on the table. They listen. To Earth now, they forget us. We must act. Others around him shook their heads. You saw what Earth did to Zevran. You saw how fast they stopped the Zeller ships. If we strike, we fall. Cyril growled. Then we must change. We must find new ways. But most of them left the room. They no longer wanted to fight Earth. They wanted to join the new future. Back on the Valiant, the crew held a quiet dinner. They shared food and stories. There was no music, just voices and soft talk. Ethan Hall raised a glass. To Earth, to peace, and to the stars. The crew raised their glasses. They did not cheer, but their eyes were bright. The next day, the Valiant left the Council planet. It did not leave in anger. It left with purpose. It would travel the galaxy, not to fight, but to remind others that strength could protect, not destroy. In small villages, on cold moons, people looked up at the sky. On large cities floating in clouds, workers pointed to the stars. On every world, someone remembered the ship, and in a classroom on a green planet, a teacher wrote on the board. She wrote, Earth came back, not with fear, but with hope. A student raised his hand. Will they stay forever? The teacher smiled. Maybe not always, but now we know they are there. Watching, waiting, and if we need them, they will return. In deep space, the F's Valiant flew forward. Its engines were quiet, its lights were steady. Inside, the crew stood ready. Captain Collins looked at the stars. He did not speak. He did not need to. The galaxy was different now, and Earth was not Silent anymore, the ship reached a new system. A signal came in. It was a call for help. A mining colony on a small planet was under threat. Pirates had taken control. The colony had no weapons. They needed aid. Collins listened to the message. Then he turned to Dana. Plot a course. We go there now. The Valiant moved fast. The pirates did not know what was coming. They had only heard of Earth in stories. They thought it was still far away. But Earth was not far. Earth was here. When the Valiant entered orbit, the pirate ships tried to flee. Collins gave a single order: disabled their engines. Bright lines of energy struck the pirate ships. Each one stopped. No lives were lost. No shots were wasted. A message was sent. Leave this system. Do not return, Earth Watchers. The colonists cheered. They sent thanks. They sent food. They sent songs. The crew of the Valiant accepted with care. Brooks stood on the bridge. We help and we move on. Collins nodded. One world at a time. News of the rescue spread. On many planets, the name Earth was now spoken with hope. Children drew pictures of the Valiant. Writers told new stories. Songs were made. In one corner of the galaxy, an old man stood outside his home. He looked up at the stars. I remember when we thought Earth was gone, he said, but they never were. They were waiting, and now they have come back. And far above, the Valiant moved forward, quiet and bright. The stars stretched before them. More calls would come. More help would be needed. And Earth would answer, not with fear, not with force, but with strength that protected and silence. That watch that the mission was not over. It had only begun. Earth was back, and the galaxy would never forget again.